The first things I'm going to do is quickly show you a couple of things I'm working with. I don't have a lot of tools, and the idea behind this whole thing is to scrounge as much as possible. So what I'm trying to do is actually get stuff from scrap heaps, buy secondhand tools, and pretty much go out of my way not to get anything new, and keep this hobby as low budget as possible. Now, it's not necessarily about keeping the budget small, but it's about the fun of actually finding things and searching for things on eBay and the like, and just having a bit of fun in putting all this stuff together. So, to get started, what I've actually done is my father has done a little bit of blacksmithing in the day, and while he was an amateur smith, he did some really cool work, which has inspired me to do a little bit more. Now, he's got his own little forge, and that's got a throughput as far as the air with a vacuum that does a reverse cycle vacuum cleaner, which pushes air through. I'm probably going to be looking at putting together a brake drum forge with just a hair dryer as the way to put air through it. But I've got a couple of things already as far as tools that have been given to me by my father, which has been really useful and a great start. And one of the things is this vise. That's right, it's called a vise. This is how amateur I am. That's not quite that bad, just had a mental blank. So here's the vise that my father's got me, and it is a bit dark in here. I'll see what I can do about that, but yeah, I'm not sure if you can actually see it all from this angle. That vise has been a really great start. Now, I need a good bench to put it on. At the moment, I've just got the wooden bench, as you saw, and I've already set that on fire just trying to practice my welds. So you're going to enjoy the process, I think, of watching the way I'm working. One of the things that I've got to start with is I'm going to start with this piece of pipe. I think that's about a 3mm piece of steel, and ideally what I'm going to be doing is putting, let's see if we can change the light, where is it? Yep, we're going to be putting this bracket on it. So we're actually going to weld that on top of the piece like this. See if I can show you that a little bit cleaner. So we're going to be putting that over the top of that, and we're going to be welding that on the top. So that's my task for today. And this is actually going to be the input air valve, or at least the part of it that's going to go onto the chamber that's then going to go up into the drum forge. So I'll explain more of these things as I get it together, and I might even show you the design that I'm actually looking to produce. But the one thing I've got to do today is my welding. Now, I'm a terrible welder, so you'll get to enjoy watching me do an interesting job of welding this piece together. So I'll jump to that in just a sec. I've got my vise over here, which I'll use to hold it in a minute, and I've got one of these, which I'm going to use to, I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll try it out. Hold this in the right spot, sort of like so. You can see that. So what I'll do is I'll tighten that up. This is complete experimentation. I really do not know what I'm doing. So I'll put that on there. I wouldn't say it's exactly square. That's the other thing too, I'll need a T-square at some point soon. So I think I'm going to have to try and find one of those. And it might even be worthwhile buying one, but ideally I want to see if I can get it from a second-hand shop. So I think if we get it up to about there, we will be right, and then use this to push it up, get it in around about the right spot. This doesn't have to be 100% straight, it just needs to be sort of coming on a basic horizontal to the project. So we don't have to worry about getting it 100% square, though it would be nice to not have it rubbish from the start. So I'm going to try and get that square. Okay, so here we are on the vise, and I've got the steel pipe in there, and I've got my bracket sitting relatively straight. I won't say square, but it's sitting relatively straight on the top there. And I think if I can weld that in that position, then we will be good to go. That is my dog Ted. Say hello, Ted. If you can see him, the light is pretty bad in here, I know that. I'll see if I can do something about the light over time. But yeah, that's what we're going to try and work with. So I'll get the gear ready, and we'll give it a go. Righto, so we're going to try and weld this piece together. I've got this cool welding mask, which is a Techman D11, I think it is. Now, I don't know if that's good or not. It could actually be a really good mask. Either way, it's not mine, so I've just borrowed it for the time being. I have to get myself one of these because I'm not going to count anything that I haven't got myself. And at some point, you know, other than this vise, which I'm very happy to keep, thank you, Dad. But my father's also given me this little hammer here for knocking off the slag and the like. So he will get that back at some point. Ideally, I want to make my own one of these once we get a forge going. So I've also borrowed the welding arc welder. So we've just got some stick welding. I am really bad at it. So we'll see how we go. One of the interesting things about the stick welding is that I tried doing it without any explanation at all, which other than being dangerous is actually an interesting way to start. So I've decided that what I'm going to do is try things. I'll quickly maybe read some safety instructions, but try things out. If they fail, then I'm going to use YouTube as a way of instructing me on how to get better at them. So the first thing, for instance, I did was actually practice some of the welds with the stick welder. And you know, I've been doing some welding of these pieces together, and that's been ground down so that and I think I see a lot of people not bothering to grind down their welds. Now, I don't know why that is, so if anyone can tell me, please do. But I think it's probably just a bit of showmanship to say that's a good weld or this is a bad weld. In this case, it's a bad weld. So it does hold together though, and here's some of the practice ones that you can see are not great, but they're better. So they're not, what do they call it, a stack of dimes, but it's maybe in a straight direction with only a few holes. So anyway, it's been interesting playing with welding and actually testing the different amperages and blowing through metal and then trying to repair it. But the idea is that I started this without any sort of instruction, played with it. It wasn't easy. I was no good at all. Then went back and watched about 5 different YouTube videos just showing me the process of welding and what I'm actually trying to do, which is to get an arc. I'm trying to actually like tap this to actually spark an arc up, which I can then use to weld my weld into place. And then the trick that I've been doing after that is trying not to burn through the metal. So working at different temperatures and seeing how I go. Ted, can you get out, please? Out you go. Come on. All right. So what I'm going to do, I've got to put some gloves on. So I've got some fairly straightforward gloves. We're going to have to get some better gloves when it comes to the forge, but these will do for now, and certainly for what I'm doing with the welding. And we're going to give this a bit of a go. Now, the bracket on the top is fairly thick metal, so and it was galvanized. And just to give you a little tip as far as the galvanization, I just used white vinegar to remove the galvanization, and that has done a really good job. So it's completely gone as far as the galvanization. And what was interesting about it is I'd watched all these videos where they'd used acid, all sorts of different acids to get rid of the galvanization, and it bubbled, and it looked like a bit of a cauldron when it was in there. I just used was it citric? No. Whatever vinegar acid is, you can tell me again in the comments. But vinegar acid to do this job, and it was interesting because I could actually see bubbles coming up from the galvanization when that was working. So I could tell it was working almost as soon as I put it in the vinegar. So that's worked a treat. So 2 hours it actually removed a lot of it. Overnight it removed the rest. So I'm going to turn on the arc welder, which I think is this one. That's just at the wall. I haven't turned it on fully. We've got the we've connected the ground here to the bracket that's holding it all together. and let's see how we go. So just put a couple of points on there, and now I'm going to weld all the way around. Now I know I should knock the slag off that first, so watch out, Ted. See how we go with this. Come on, hop out. Don't want you to get hurt. Out. Alright. Now, I believe what I'm doing is actually knocking the slag off to reveal the metal weld underneath, so that when I go to weld again, I'm actually going to have a clean surface to work that up. In actual fact, I still need to get a wire brush too, so I'm just using this bit of rubbish brush for the moment just to get rid of some of the extra material. So let's go again and see if we can maybe finish this one off. We'll do it in chunks so I don't go burning a hole through it. Come on, where are you? Switch, there we go. Alright, just a quick cut there because I was dropping stuff on the floor and need to pick it up, get the dog out. And what's interesting, you can't stop and start the video with the gloves on, so I have to put those back on as well. Alright, let's go again. See if we can start an arc to begin with. Let's turn it on. Believe it or not, I think that's actually not too bad. I'll show you it if you don't judge. Okay, so clearly that's not great, but it is on there. What I'm going to do is actually knock some of the slag off, and we will just go over some of those pieces again and finish it off. Fair, safety-wise, it's good to have the shield, but if I haven't got it across my face, I do have these glasses on, which do not chip easily, but let's be a little bit safer because there's metal flying around, or at least slag flying around a little bit. So the less that I chip these glasses, the better, I think. Now I realise that's actually moving the camera around, so apologies for that. Alright, well it's certainly stuck on there. Now it's the case of just making it a little bit neater, I think. just had to change the stick over, and we're just going to go again just to finish the last piece. I think that's all right. So I'll knock off some of the excess slag there, and then might just grind it down. All right, so clearly not great, but the task was to weld this thing on there, get it on there, and I have. So from that point of view, I'm happy. Clearly I could get a bit more practice in. What I'm going to do is just grind down just across here with it's still a bit hot, grind down here with just a flapper wheel on the angle grinder here, and I think that was a 40 grit at one point, but it's actually knocked, it's a bit old now, so it's a little bit less, I would say. But we'll grind that down just so it's flat, and then do have a ligature here we can actually use if we do need to get the whole thing a little bit more flat than that. For the time being, I think this will probably work. So I'll just grind that down and we'll go from there. By the way, I just found the light on this camera, so you can see it a little bit clearer now. All right, so safety glasses on. We've got ourselves the angle grinder, so I'll just turn that on. And I'm sure there are all sorts of things. I'll take that off there, we don't need that anymore. All sorts of things I should be considering a little bit more. Probably the height of this is not ideal, but for the time being, actually what I might do, so I've just changed the angle of this on the vise so I can get a better shot with the angle grinder, because I'm just going to smooth down the top. Right, so just ground that down so it's smooth, and when we move on to the next video, ideally we're going to look at maybe joining this up to the pipe that's going to go up into the forge. But that might not be the next video, it could be a later video. But anyway, I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching.